Ford Explorer, and I am having transmission issues again. You can see the OD light over there flashing. Check engine light is on because of oxygen sensor. I believe I had to pull the codes again, but I'm going to explain to you what's going on with this transmission. So apparently my previous video of this truck, when I had problems with the transmission, third gear, when they engaged the third gear, to be real rough, and it got worse over time, and my reverse gear completely went out. So I'm currently on the freeway and going close to 80, and my final drive ratio is not working, so it won't kick in whatsoever. And by the look of the RPMs, it just won't upshift to the final drive gear. Very unusual. Very unusual. I wasn't expecting to deal with this so early. Usually, at the speed I'm at now, RPMs would be just a little bit over 2,000, but I'm pretty much close to 3,000 RPM at 80 miles an hour, and OD light is just a flashing. It's crazy. I just had this transmission rebuilt in was it October, November, one of those months, and now having the same issue, but this time it ain't with second and third gear, it's with my final drive ratio. But other than that, normal acceleration, it shifts fine, but when I go over 50 miles an hour, it's like my final drive gear just doesn't want to shift. However, the OD works, but my final drive ratio it won't shift to my final drive ratio like it usually do. And it's like, really? Like, this truck is really becoming a muddy pit. Like, see, it shifts fine when you're normal driving, because I had this transmission rebuilt, and they replaced it second and third gear, replaced it my clutch solenoids, and a few other stuff. They replaced it. So it's like, come on now. Like, really? Like, why couldn't this final drive gear go out at the time I was getting this transmission rebuilt? So to give you a demonstration, at 50 miles an hour, it just won't shift to its final drive ratio. See, I'm letting off the gas usually at a shift, but it just won't shift at all. So I happened to call the transmission shop, and come to find out, because I do got a warranty on this rebuild, but because I only got a warranty on the parts that was replaced on this truck, the warranty does not cover the final drive ratio, unfortunately, which means if I decide to have this transmission rebuilt all over again, it's gonna cost me some money. Why, oh why? I'm gonna tell y'all something. If you want something reliable that'll last you over 180,000 miles, you might want to go foreign and get you a Toyota. Not trying to bash on Ford, but it's like, you know, for this truck, this 02 Ford Explorer, and the type of transmission it has in it, it's very problematic. It gives you a headache, I should say. It gives you a headache. Don't get me wrong, it's a decent transmission when it's working properly, but it's like, you know, this would be the second time I would have to put this in the shop for a transmission issue. And it's like, you know, I've had vehicles that lasted over 200,000 miles and the transmission was still original. But one thing I hate about the transmissions on this type of model is you can't check the fluid. It has no dipstick, and that really sucks. And I think that's a poorly designed on the engineer's fault. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna turn this into a project truck, but after spending nearly $2,000, well, I should say $2,000 on getting the transmission rebuilt, and for the overdrive, well, not the overdrive, the final drive ratio gear going out. Is this even worth keeping? I mean, it's got 180,000 miles on it. The body is not too bad in condition, except for the rust right here. That's about it, and a little bit of rust right here. Of course, I tried to patch that up. That didn't work out too well. Some rust right there. But I mean, it's not that really in bad condition. And not to mention, some clown decided to steal my antenna. I had a bullet antenna on here. Somebody then broke it off and just took the bullet. You can't have nothing decent out here. But I don't know. I mean, should I trade it in? Get something else? Or should I just continue to hold on to this and fix it up and use this as another backup car? I don't know. I mean, this is probably the only strong part about this Explorer is the engine. I mean, the engine runs pretty good. I do use synthetic oil, Mobil 1, but it's just the transmission issues that kind of just throw you off. You know, I mean, this is a good engine. This engine will run you 300,000 miles. I just kind of wish the transmission would last that long, if you know what I mean. You know, this is the type of truck you want to take on a long drive or across the country, but I mean, look at the coils. I mean, I did some work to it. Of course, I'm gonna have to replace that thermostat because it's leaking a little bit. I mean, that's an easy job to do. I don't know. What you guys think? Let me know. I was gonna take this to the dunes to do some content with it, but apparently I'm gonna have to change my plans because of this transmission not shifting to its highest gear ratio. And as you can see, the light quit flashing ever since I did a walk around. But I mean, I know it's just an overdrive gear, whatever you want to call it, final drive gear. But, you know, I live 3 hours away from the sand dunes, and it's like driving at that RPM and this being a gas guzzler just ain't gonna cut it. It's not gonna cut it at all. And I just feel like, you know, who's to say something else might happen when we out there in the sand riding on the hills and stuff like that, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna do some long thinking about this truck, whether or not if I should keep it. I did have this truck for some years, and just so happened I already knew about the transmission issues. I already knew that the transmission for this particular vehicle was very problematic through 2002 all the way up, and correct me if I'm wrong, all the way up into 2010. And really all four products with the 5R55S or 5R55W has the same transmission issue. And I believe some of the Jaguars use the same transmission as well. And I knew about the transmission being the problem. When I first got this truck, I just wasn't expecting it. You know, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put my trust in this transmission and see what happens. But unfortunately, I believe all of the transmissions, 5R55S, 5R55W, all eventually fail. I mean, if you're lucky, you probably had one, an original one that'll last you for a good while. So, I don't know. Comment below what y'all think I should do. I gotta think long and hard about this, and I haven't had to talk to the transmission shop again to see if they can possibly fix that issue under warranty, even though that part, the only parts that's covered by warranty is second and third gear solenoids, my reverse gear, and my torque converter, which is the parts they had to replace in order to get this thing back on the road. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to spend another $2,000 just for final drive gear ratio. I think that's insane. But I don't know. I'm going to do some long thinking about it. Y'all can comment below, tell me what y'all think. And I'm going to just spend this next 3 days thinking about what I'm going to do. I mean, it's just annoying that, you know, something like this happened again. And, you know, I wanted to plan a nice little weekend trip to the sand dunes and just have a little fun and this to do some content. But I don't know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. See you soon.